Kia ora and welcome to Extra Time. Piri, a few weeks back, mate, we thought we were only going to be 2 New Zealand teams in the playoffs.
I don't think anyone would have thought that there was going to be 4 franchises from home to be there. But I keep pushing for it.
It came true, mate.
Wanted 4.
And it was a pretty simple kind of equation for those 2 Kiwi teams in terms of all they had to do was get 5 points, a bonus point, and then see what happens after that.
Oh, exactly. And they've got obviously results that need to go in their favour, and it just panned out.
It happened. Yeah, it happened. Now we got 4. Sorry about the Blues, but maybe next year. It's always next year, but maybe next year is the year for them. But look, mate, it kicked off in Dunedin actually Invercargill, not Dunedin, deep south. Highlanders needed 5 points, and they start off pretty strong. Josh Mackay filling Bender's shoes, mate, and he couldn't have done a better job early on, eh?
Well, obviously you've seen the space that was sort of behind. You know, you've got the winger chasing, and there's no one at the back, and just lucky enough that the bounce sort of a little bit in his favour. Probably, most people would have probably tried to dive on that.
Yeah.
You know, as a defender, but poor flanker didn't do his job and
great composure.
And then he picked it up.
Mackay,
exactly, picked it up and
that's
something exactly like you said. Bender would do something like that.
Yeah, that was a Bender play. So he's looking good. Josh Mackay filling in.
Bender must have been bloody teaching him.
Well, he was on the sidelines. He's probably barking a few instructions there to him, eh?
Probably was.
And mate, over to the Chiefs, and again they needed 5 points. They needed a bonus point. They started strong as well. They poured the points on the Rebels, and we're going to take a look at what I think is one of the tries of the season. What do you reckon?
Oh, just obviously the chip from Quaid wasn't the greatest, but you know, you try and turn those into a better kick by chasing hard. But I mean, De Brasini started this whole movement, and you know, look at all if you look around this, there's a lot of Chiefs players there. Yeah, jerseys, and basically take your pick.
It's almost too many, isn't it? You get confused who to pass the ball to for the try. Eh?
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, but that's you know, the Canes of old when they were contenders for the title.
2-12, 2-13 when
exactly,
they won the 2 titles,
you know, just
right?
every person just working to get there and support. Yeah. And it didn't matter who was there. I mean, look, you got Angus Tarver there, who's a prop. Yeah. He's worked his ass off to get into a good position to help assist that, whether it was to clean out or just to back up for.
And it just shows how committed they are at this stage of the season, eh? You're going to be a threat in that playoff.
I mean, I guess a lot of people probably would have ripped them off right at the start of the season. You know, round 5 they weren't winning any games. And obviously they've just turned it all around. Found players that can slot into positions where they're covering injuries, and I just don't know how they've managed to find these players. You know, you lose a world-class player, like Sam King, Brody, and they just find new talent to fill the void. So yeah, it's good to see them in the playoffs. Never know.
They're playing with no fear, so it's going to be dangerous. And mate, over to the Blues v Canes. So Blues hadn't beat the Hurricanes for quite some time. They got out to a really good lead actually, 24-5 at half time. This try from Taniela Talia, set up by Terry Black. Yeah,
I guess, you know, just pressure, applying the pressure around the try line there, and just, you know, waiting for their time, and when the time was right, being able to shift the ball. Magic
ball from Black there, wasn't it?
Being able to hold it up. I think they had obviously must have had a couple of options there, but for him to sort of put it behind the back of the defender there and basically hit the right man was awesome. But yeah, look, they got off to a great start and just weren't able to capitalise on you know, that lead in the second half.
And we'll look at what the Canes did to them in the second half. So trailing by 19 points, they needed a spark. They had a few of their big boys come on, but Jackson Garden-Bishop at 10 really laid the platform here with 2 really nice touches.
Yeah, I think they must have spoken about this at half time. Obviously they didn't create too much in the first half. You know, probably would have seen more opportunities and weren't able to feed the messages in. But they probably would have got it right at half time, and it led to 2 good tries. Yeah. I mean, look at that. You don't see many locks being able to step back like that and go the distance too.
Yeah, that was a special try. So again, a lot of young blood for the Canes, so they're looking good for the future and good for the playoff this week against the Bulls. Now the team they're taking on, the Bulls, they're in rampant form against the Lions. We're going to have a look at a few of the tries here.
Yeah, well, I guess, you know, that whole conference has been a tough one because it's hard to pick week in, week out who's the form sort of you know, team in the South African conference, but you know, they're obviously coming to a bit more form. They've got obviously their forwards are always bunch of big boys and able to, you know, get themselves over the advantage line and create opportunities for the backs. But you know, all these tries have come from their playmaker.
Yeah.
And Pollard's been playing really well. And when he's leading like that, you know, obviously those boys just grow in strength and confidence and things like that. But they're going to be hard to, you know, to stop. So I'd probably say that the boys have got a tough ask.
It's going to be a tough one. Saturday night at the Cake Tin, Pollard v Barrett. How good is that clash going to be at 10 jersey?
It was the same as the under 20s, wasn't it? Was he a year after? Around the same time?
Yeah.
But no, it's good. It's good for the game to see a couple of young lads sort of, you know, lead their franchise, and you know, it's basically see who shows up with the right frame of mind, really, and it's going to be a good one. Looking forward to it.
It's going to be a great weekend. We're down to the crunch time playoffs, do or die, knockouts, and next week we'll be back when there's only 4 teams remaining. So we'll see you then.